Hard sports all plays. Hard sports all plays. Hard sports all plays. 365, we making up plays. You talking the game, get through the days. We're high in the court, the diamond faces. Scratching the film, so tie the laces. Hard sports all plays.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Keepin' It Real. What better way to keep it real? Adam's over here busting his butt trying to make some extra money. That's Keepin' It Real for you. What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Need to do some plug-in for you. We got the ASAP Plus Network, the regular ASAP Sports Network. Find them on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. Like, share everything. Tiki Live TV. They're working on, I believe, Apple TV, which is cool. Roku channel, all that stuff. Give them a like. There's tons of shows. Sean does a different show where he talks about basketball stuff. Adam, I don't know if you have any more shows, but you need more shows.
Yeah, I do. Come on, Freddie.
There you go. So check out all the shows. But let's roll, man. There is so much stuff to talk about. Sean, lead us off.
So I guess the first thing we can dive into is Tom Brady's situation. How surprised are you guys that he came back? So I've been talking to my friends. We talk about football every day. I said on the other show, I never thought it was real. I mean, it never hit me that he was ever going to leave. And in the back of my mind, I'm not saying that I thought he was going to come back, but for some reason, it just never hit me that he was gone. And now for good reason. I mean, he's back. Makes sense because he was still at the top of his game. He was arguably, I mean, a lot of people had him as the MVP. I mean, he definitely was runner-up, if not the MVP last year. He's still playing at a high level. They tagged Chris Godwin. Mike Evans is still there. They just made some moves, which we'll talk about later, to help out Tom Brady. But I guess he got tired of his home life real quick. Man, had a conversation with his wife, and he's back. He's back. Short retirement.
Giselle said 3 more kids if you don't play next year, and he was like,
I'm out.
I'm the first to admit, when he was on the Patriots, as most people, I really did not like Tom Brady, but he's just, to me, a much more likable person on the Bucs, and I'm honestly glad he's back. I never thought I'd say that, but that the game isn't the same without Tom Brady, and I'm glad him and Aaron Rodgers both decided to come back again for at least one more year, make the NFC stronger. I can't really say anything negative. Didn't want to leave his teammates out to dry. Maybe that played a part. Maybe his home life was already miserable. One argument, she was like, "Get your ass back to football." Who knows? But I'm honestly glad to see Tom Brady back. I know a lot of people are tired of him, but I'm not. I'm glad to see him back.
Have you seen Ted 2?
Yeah.
What if that really happened and that's why he's back? I'm just saying. No, I've never liked Tom Brady, honestly. I've always been not a fan, but I've always respected what he can do in his game. Right. So even if I hate the guy as a player, I don't know him as a person, and I have nothing but to do is respect his game. He's the GOAT. He really put the GOAT debate away for football, probably forever.
I agree.
Yeah, it's not even as of right now, I don't think anyone currently in the game, no one's going to be able to come close to him. I mean, he was super. I just liked him his whole career. But he was 199 in his draft class and Mr. Irrelevant almost. And the dude came out of nowhere. He came out of nowhere, and one injury set his whole career off, and we got to see the best football player to step on the field because of an injury.
Yeah, I wonder what would have happened if Drew never got hurt. He may have ended up with a different team. May have never been anything. It's crazy.
It's so crazy how it works, right? He got that one lucky break, and then here we are, 20 something years later, and he's undoubtedly the best to ever do it. One of the best athletes to ever do it. Even it's crazy, like him being gone. It was weird because I'm 29, so he's been. What did he get drafted in 2000, I believe?
Yeah, he's 23rd year. This
Yeah.
year's
So yeah,
23rd.
that's his 23rd year. So he's been playing since I was 6 years old. I obviously wasn't a huge football fan at 6. So my
Yeah.
entire existence as a football fan was Tom Brady pretty much being a top quarterback the entire time. So it just felt surreal for him to be gone. I'm glad he's back, and he's not gone.
Nope.
You were 6 in 2000.
I guess I was 8. That's bad math.
Okay, still, like, man, in
Had a
2000
long day.
I was done with high school. Like,
I
I'm up there, dude.
was 10 years old. 10 years old when Tom Brady was drafted.
He's definitely changed the game, and I mean,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
he's had a positive impact on a lot of people. I mean, look at Randy Moss. Moss came in. I feel like Moss changed as a person when he played with Tom Brady.
Mhm.
Yes.
Not that Randy Moss is this outcast, horrible person, but I think he calmed down a lot. And you could say the same for the short amount of time that Chad Ochocinco was in the house. I felt like he was more determined when he was there.
Just couldn't figure out the playbook.
Yeah,
I miss him. He was so good.
It's
I
wild
really,
because I
really
believe
do.
it was Darrell Revis that came out and said recently on a podcast. He said that it's an acquired taste to play with Bill Belichick and Tom Brady back in the day. He said it's not for everybody, but I mean those guys are probably the best ever doing it at their respective positions, the coach and player. So I mean, you take the winning with it, right? And that's all he's done in his whole career is win with Belichick. Now without Belichick, doesn't matter.
Yeah,
And
and it's
Michael's on point there with that
Yep.
comment. Go ahead.
yeah. I mean, you look at Patrick Mahomes, and he's getting all this money. Tom Brady hasn't even made that much his whole entire career from what Patrick Mahomes' contract is. He's not greedy, and he's someone who cares more about the team than himself. I mean, mind you, Giselle makes more money than he does anyway, but he's not a greedy person. He enjoys the game, and it shows.
There's that, but he also gets a lot of sponsorships too from Gillette and these commercials, and he can be on whatever show he wants.
Yep.
He there's money to be made for him anywhere he wants to make money, so that plays a part in it as well. Probably same with Aaron Rodgers though. So
yeah, this got thumb check.
We've talked about these quarterback deals a few times on these shows. I mean, I feel like they cripple the team. I mean, you got a window. When you pay a guy that much, you got like 3 years before the team implodes. I mean, the guys that he throws to are going to want more money. Even if Patrick Mahomes is hitting Tyreek Hill, eventually Hill's going to say, hey, guys, I'm making 10 here, but, a team like the Seahawks or, whoever would pay me 18 mil. I think I got to go.
Yeah.
And it happens.
Absolutely.
So, I don't like those deals. They clog up the salary cap for no reason.
That's like Aaron Rodgers' deal just came out. It was released. $152 million guaranteed on 3 years. That's insane.
It's atrocious.
Like, that's a bad deal for Green Bay, without a doubt.
it's so crazy how the salary cap works because I don't now they're saying they're about to make Jair Alexander the highest paid cornerback. They still obviously have to pay Devontae Adams. He already said he's not playing on the tag. So how do they afford this? I mean, obviously they lost to Darius Smith, but they already re-signed Preston Smith. They lost Valdez Scantling.
Yep.
So I mean, they're going to be losing players, but they're keeping mostly their core players. So like a lot of people say salary cap can be, it's like a folklore, like it doesn't exist, which it obviously does exist.
Yeah.
But obviously teams are, I don't know if teams are finding a way around it or what's going on. Like the Chiefs, how the Packers, I don't know how they're going to make it work. I don't know how the Saints are in the running for Deshaun Watson. Just stuff like that. It just doesn't click with me. I don't understand it.
I don't think he goes to New Orleans. There's no reason for him to.
Me either, but they're a serious contender to possibly get him.
Yeah.
I will say this is all I know about the salary cap, and I've done research on it. I've tried to understand it better. It seems as if they don't care where your cap number is as long as you are under when it comes time for a game. If you get towards the preseason, you've got to be under the salary cap, or you get fined. That's the biggest thing they'll do is they'll fine you for spending too much money. I know it sounds ridiculous, but that's the way it is.
But don't they also fine you for not spending enough?
I wish they did. They don't.
I thought they did.
Yeah, nah. I don't think they do.
In baseball, they talked about it because, like, the Miami Marlins for a long time were paying the bare minimum and they were basically underpaying everybody so that they could keep their ticket sales where they needed them, like lowball baseball, basically.
Yeah.
And,
It's a business.
but
I mean, if that is a thing, then that would explain why the Jacksonville Jaguars signed Zay Jones and Kirk to as much as they did.
That's my theory.
I can tell you exactly why. I will break it down for you, and this will
We'll
make
get
sense.
into it.
Okay,
Let's hear
so
it.
you get 2 phone calls. One is Jacksonville, and it's 5 years, $50 million. The other is any other team in the NFL, and it's 5 years, $50 million. Who are you choosing?
Well, yeah, Jacksonville, but
No. Same money. Jacksonville versus anybody else. If I'm any kind of decent player and I won a championship,
you're not going
anybody
to
else.
Jacksonville.
It depends on where the other teams are, but yeah, if you want a championship, not there. But I mean, it's nice weather. They got a nice stadium.
No,
They do got a nice
no,
stadium.
and no. The city is it. Look, if you're a rich NFL player, like you want a big city, you want the clubs to be hopping,
Miami or something.
you want things to be crazy around you. That's the life they live. So you go to Jacksonville, and the life around you is shootings and slums. I'm sorry,
I
but
know.
I'm from Jacksonville. I know what it's like. It's not
Mhm.
Atlanta. It's not L.A.
You
It's
say
not
the same about Baltimore, but they always end up bringing in people.
Yeah.
Baltimore,
Baltimore's not great.
though. Baltimore has some history. Even before they were the Ravens, they were the Browns.
Yeah,
Jacksonville has no winning history at all.
true.
We've
That's
never
true.
made the Super Bowl. We've
Well,
never
fairly
won
new.
the title.
They're fairly new. Give them a chance.
Can I do a quick theory real quick on what I think the Jaguars are doing? I think they are overpaying people because they have the money to do so, and I think what they're trying to do is limit other teams from like making price tags higher, so other teams can't sign these players. Like if they can afford to pay Christian Kirk $21 million, Devontae Adams is going to get $30 million
Yeah.
or whatever he's going to get, and that's going to screw over other teams. And they have the money, so why not spend it? I think that they're kind of trying to handicap other teams, while I mean, obviously doing what you said, they have to pay more. I think they're trying to handicap other teams to make sure that, hey, maybe if we're not going to compete and we're going to grab these players that are maybe middle of the barrel, we can afford to pay them. Why not make the average higher for everybody else and like kind of try to sway them a little bit that way?
I like what Michael's saying here. Yeah, it makes sense. The basketball salary cap doesn't exist. They kind of have a salary cap. From what I understand, they have a certain amount that they can spend before the luxury tax kicks in.
Mhm.
As far as football goes, I think that makes sense the way he said it, and I think it makes sense the way he's saying it. It is only protecting the owners. Period.
Yeah.
I
Ticket
agree.
sales don't work out, and they don't make their $1 to $2 billion a year. They're going to throw a fit. When you look at the deals Jerry Jones is throwing out right now, none of those deals make sense,
No.
but it's saving him money.
Yeah.
And
It's
also
also
what Michael said real quick about the best way for teams to prosper is to do it on a quarterback's rookie contract. Now, I believe that's exactly what the Chargers are trying to do right now. That's why
my
the Chargers
goodness.
are going all in right now, because they saw what happened with the Bengals and Joe Burrow last year. You give them a bunch of weapons, and look where they're at. And Joe Burrow's on his rookie contract, so now when all those weapons need to get paid and Joe Burrow needs to get paid, probably their window's going to start closing a little bit. Same thing with the Chargers, and we'll get into this. That's why they're signing all these people, because Justin Herbert's on his rookie contract. He's going to get $50 million a year.
For sure.
He's a top 5 quarterback, probably. You can argue. So I mean, yeah, that's 100% correct. That's if you don't win when your
quarterback's a rookie.
contract, you're going to be in for some trouble. I mean, it is what it is.
I think
absolutely.
the COVID shutdown really screwed up the salary, because it was the first time in NFL history the salary cap shrunk. And the implications are huge, because if you change the trajectory, that doesn't happen. The salary cap is probably about 220 right now, which is an extra 12 million for these guys to spend.
Right.
But the salaries for the players has not gone down; it's gone up. So that 1 year where it came down, that's why you see all these teams converting roster bonuses, releasing guys, and taking the smaller dead cap hit, because they have to. They have to make somebody happy. and they can't make everybody happy. But the NFL should do something about that.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Was the COVID year for the NFL, was that the only year that the salary cap has gone down? Because it usually goes up. I mean, I'm sure it's happened. Has it ever happened other than that year? Okay.
We've had one. Nope.
That makes sense. Because what you saw was a lot of players signing one-year deals for maybe a small – Juju signing a one-year deal for maybe a smaller amount of money, or players signing franchise tags that weren't going to because they knew that it was probably going to go up this year, and there's a better chance of them getting more money this year. And so far, that is what has happened.
And the salary cap reflects – how much the league makes, how much the teams bring in,
of course. Right.
The percentage of the overall income. So if the NFL takes a hit, obviously the salary cap has to come down. They can afford to pay at $800 million a year in contracts and only make $600 million. The NFL will never lose money.
No. They're the biggest business, best business in the world.
Yeah, rookie quarterback deals are where it's at.
Yeah.
That's why I think the Bengals will get a Super Bowl before Joe Burrow's contract is up, because this is their window, and he's one of the best young quarterbacks there is right now.
Good luck in the AFC getting a Super Bowl.
Hey, it can happen. It
definitely can happen. I'm not saying it won't happen. It can't happen, but
yeah,
it takes some luck and a lot of things to go right for your team to make a Super Bowl.
All you gotta do is join the AFC South and not lose every game. I think that's the destination.
Pretty much.
Okay, so we talked about a little bit of free agency with some guys. Let's talk about some of the bad moves by the Cowboys. I really want to point this out because I think Jerry Jones may have hit his dementia stage. So you've got Amari Cooper, who's wide receiver 1, period. There's not a debate. He was their go-to guy. They basically trade him for a 5th-round pick.
Yeah.
They lose some money, dead cap. Always, you're going to have dead cap. You trade somebody. They then let Wilson go. I don't know if they made an effort to re-sign him or not, but he's gone. They give Gallup, who is injury-prone and drop-prone. I've never seen a receiver drop passes like in succession as he's done. And they give him a huge raise. I don't know how Dak can feel comfortable. Dale Collins is probably traded.
Yeah.
What do you think?
So to the Amari Cooper point, they saved like a good amount of money on the cap by letting him go. I think that was when he came out vocal last year. And I think that was pretty much a done deal, like Jarvis Landry getting out of Cleveland. That was pretty much done. So what that was the Browns probably called him and was like, listen, before you release him, it's obvious you're releasing him. We'll give you a 5th and a 6th so you don't get nothing at all.
Yeah.
So that's probably what happened there. Now, to me, I've talked to a lot of Cowboys fans. I honestly thought that I thought they were for sure going to re-sign Cedric Wilson once Amari Cooper was gone. I would have honestly rather sign Cedric Wilson than Michael Gallup, like you said. He probably would have been cheaper, and you can probably get like a Valdez-Scantling or somebody that's pretty much equal to Michael Gallup, maybe a little better.
Yeah.
So that was, and then Randy Gregory hit him with a swerve, and then
I love that.
The story that came out was something about he didn't like something about something in the contracts, and he said F them.
Basically,
he literally said F them.
Basically, he's saying Dallas is the only franchise that does this. I don't know if that's true, but they put a clause in his contract that any guarantee money can be voided if he's fined at all, like a fine for anything.
Isn't that the opposite of guaranteed money? Then the money wouldn't be guaranteed.
It's kind of my thing there, but apparently they do it a lot in Dallas, and he had the same deal with Denver, and Denver's like, yeah, we don't do that here, and he's like, all right, bet. See you in 20 minutes.
So probably with that, I mean, usually I would just say, well, don't get fined then. But the NFL fines you for everything. They can fine you for an unnecessary helmet-to-helmet hit, and the guy was literally falling to the ground, and you couldn't stop yourself. You know what I mean? So, no, I see his point. And if they wouldn't work with him a little bit, I mean, somebody offered me the same amount of money. Here I go.
You can get fined for avoiding the media after a game.
Yeah, you can get they get their money. They get their money.
Marshawn Lynch, I'm here because I have to be.
They also extended.
It's court ordered, man.
Extended the Marcus Brown, right?
Yep.
and re-signed Malik Hooker, I believe, to a 2-year
That's-
deal. So
I want a Hooker.
they made some okay moves. It's the Cowboys. They're always going to be the center of attention at some point. They do some dumb stuff. They'll do some good stuff. They'll be good on the field. They'll choke when it matters. That's the Cowboys story over and over again. It's like Jeff Fisher going 8-8. It's always going to happen.
Yep.
Next week you invite me. Yeah, sure. If you want to come on next week, I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
I just posted there. If he wants to hop in for a minute, come on, man.
Yeah, it's fine with me.
We got Adam who's working. I mean, that's a possible in spades.
And can I quickly talk about how happy I am that the Ravens picked up Marcus Williams for $14 million a year?
Please do.
I honestly, like a lot of Ravens fans, rightfully so, they wanted Honey Badger. He's 29 years old. He is still a playmaker. That is what the Ravens need. Like we had Deshaun Elliott, we had Chuck Clark. They are both strong safety, in the box safety, run stopping safety. Neither one of them can cover. Marcus Williams, since he was drafted, has been for Pro Football Focus, take it or leave it, has been the number 1 rated free safety in the league, and he was the number 1 rated free safety in free agency. So I'm very, very ecstatic. People obviously only know, the casual fans only going to know Marcus Williams because of the missed tackle with Stephon Diggs in a Minneapolis Miracle or whatever they like to call it these days.
Yeah.
That was Marcus Williams.
New Orleans.
So he honestly fits the Ravens mold. He is a Ravens type of player. He's really good. He plays really well against the run. He's going to play free safety. He can play middle of the field safety. He can cover better than Chuck Clark, who is going to probably play strong safety for us. So I'm very, very ecstatic that Eric DeCosta made that move, and I think it was for a good price. I just had to get it off my chest real quick.
Nah, that's cool. Appreciate it. I appreciate your review on that. That's awesome. I feel like I should know this, Adam, but who is your team?
Denver.
Oh, okay. Well, then, yeah, that's right.
Why do you think I'm so happy that Russell Wilson?
It's hard to tell with you. It's the lack of hair. Sometimes I don't know if you're mad or what. So I just kind of go with it. But
yeah, I'm a Denver fan.
That whole division's loading up. That whole division's filthy.
I'll tell you what. The team that is scaring me big time is Chargers.
Yeah.
Really?
The Chargers just brought in who they just bring that cornerback?
J.C. Jackson.
J.C. Jackson.
For $16 million a year, that's a steal.
For one of the best corners in the league.
He's an absolute dog. He's so underrated.
Derwin James, Bosa.
Asante Samuel Jr., Khalil Mack.
Like, they're stacked. They're win now. I think they're in win now mode. And I think
they're trying to win while Herbert's on his rookie deal. Like, that's exactly what they're trying to do.
Yep. They scare me.
I think. Sorry, go ahead.
They're definitely a team to be threatened by.
I think the Chargers have won the offseason so this quickly. Probably them or the Broncos. I mean, you can throw the Jags in there. I thought they made some nice moves. The Chargers did just lose Brian Beluga, the tackle. That's big. But then, they added Khalil Mack. They re-signed Mike Williams. They obviously added J.C. Jackson.
Yeah.
They're in win now while Justin Herbert's on his rookie deal, and a lot of that probably alludes to what happened with the Bengals last year.
Mm-hmm.
But I will throw this out there because the rumors circulating, the Chargers can still draft a defensive tackle, a nose tackle.
Jordan
Davis, and he would. I don't know if that defensive line could be stopped. Jordan Davis, I've watched him for 3.5 years. He's not blockable when he's on his game. He's not. He's too strong. He's too fast. He's going to develop into a very good nose tackle.
Yeah, if all the things fall into all the stars align and Max stays healthy, Bosa stays healthy, which that's almost impossible. But if they both stay healthy and they pick Davis, it's a wrap.
It'd be scary.
That's probably the best overall team in the league if that happens.
And Bosa didn't need a lot of help. He just needs to stay healthy, and then dude's unblockable on his own.
He needs no help. Him, TJ Watt, Khalil Mack, all these people, they don't need help.
It's crazy. Go ahead.
Where do you guys think Deshaun's gonna go? He's
Panthers.
Houston rejected Indianapolis.
Rightfully
They
so.
said, nope, you're not taking him.
I wouldn't. Yeah.
I think who's the front runner right now? Carolina is in it.
I think that's where he goes.
The front runner, I believe, is now Atlanta.
Yeah,
That came up
Atlanta. Him with Kyle Pitts.
They might as well have us at receiver at this point. They have no receivers.
No, and Kyle Pitts, he's good, but he's too young to
Yeah.
have to deal with all this on his shoulders. Like, he's a monster, but they need a quarterback. Matt Ryan's absolutely atrocious. And
Yeah.
who's their second best wide receiver? Is Zacchaeus?
What's his name? Emmanuel? It's like they just tendered him. I can't remember his name, unfortunately. They lost Russell Gage. He was their best receiver.
He was.
Right, wide receiver for the Bucs, and he's going to flourish there. I can promise you that.
With Godwin out for at least the beginning of the season, he's going to take Godwin's spot.
Yep.
I kind of do think that the Panthers are the team to beat in the end, though, because
I agree.
one, they have weapons, but two, they have weapons they already want to move. So you got Christian McCaffrey. They're open to trading him. I've said all along, I think it's the Saints, and I hope I'm right, but it's starting to be more clear that I think the Panthers landing, because Porter Hayes from Sports and Culture said this today. You know, the Panthers make sense because Deshaun Watson went to school down the road.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
His local fan base is there, and if you're going to rebuild a reputation, that's the way to do it, is go home. Atlanta's kind of the same because he's a Georgia boy, but I think the more recent college experience would dictate. But I can see Deshaun Watson for Christian McCaffrey, and they'd still get 3 first-round picks out of it.
Maybe Brian Burns or somebody like that, too. Maybe they'll throw in a corner or something. They have some young, fast corners, too.
And then they can find their quarterback in the draft in the next few years and just start over.
Yeah, I think it would be Matt Ryan, or not Matt Ryan. It would definitely be, who is it, Darnold is their quarterback currently? Yeah. Darnold will go to Houston as well. Darnold or Cam, but Cam he's done. Darnold, McCaffrey, and someone else on defense. And then he's got
they released Fox. I would have said Fox.
It's not the greatest wide receiver core, but it's a lot better than New Orleans, and it's a lot better than
young and fast. I mean, they got a young fast. They got a good tight end.
DJ Moore's a beast.
They got a good defense. I mean, if they get Deshaun Watson with how weak the NFC is outside of the Rams, Bucks, and Packers at this point, the Panthers can make a run. I ain't gonna say I'm not gonna say they're gonna be in the Super Bowl, but Deshaun Watson, as we've seen play him last, is a top 5 quarterback.
Oh, easily. He still is to this day.
I mean, for some reason, whatever reason, every time I think of Deshaun Watson now, the Panthers pop in my head instantly. Matt Rule is trying to save his job. He has to win this year. He has to do something this year or he's going to be gone. They have young receivers. They have DJ Moore. They have Terrence Marshall. The other thing is they can trade Christian McCaffrey because Chuba Hubbard was so good last year for them.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's a Christian McCaffrey caliber type of player, but he did a lot of the same things Christian McCaffrey can do, and he's very productive. That helps.
Hubbard's definitely a good running back. Definitely solid.
I could just see him in the uniform. I don't think he looks good in a Falcons uniform. Panthers uniform.
Miami. I can still see Miami.
I want him out of the AFC. I'm not going to lie. I don't want him to the Browns. I'm hoping that the trade was leaked, what it was, and the Texans apparently said no. It was not verified. It was from a verified source. It said he heard the trade was like Baker Mayfield, Greg Newsome, a couple first, and I forgot who the other player was.
You'd have to send Myles Garrett if they're going to take it.
I don't want. So the Steelers were apparently in the running, and now they're out of the running. Obviously, with Mitch Trubisky coming there, and now
they don't have anything really to give.
Out of the blue, now the Browns are in the running. I'm like, dude, come get out of the division. I don't want you in this division. Get out of the AFC. Go to the NFC. It's weak over there. We have enough firepower in the AFC right now with Russ. We just took Russ. A soul for a soul. Take Deshaun Watson.
I can honestly see like even the Eagles popping in.
See, I saw that a lot, but like,
I don't think it's.
How does that affect Jalen Hurts if you don't get him? Because doesn't that hurt Jalen Hurts' confidence a little bit?
So, like I've been telling people, like Jalen Hurts is still being like this should be his draft class right now. Like he's young. He's played 2 years in the NFL. Like Eagles fans are so quick to give up on their players.
Yeah.
And if you look at it, who was he compared to? Lamar Jackson.
Yeah,
I'll take a Lamar Jackson, mini Lamar Jackson if I'm Philly.
most people would.
I think a lot of the stigma with Jalen Hurts is this. When he was at Alabama, who replaced him? Tua.
Tua, yeah.
Tua's not doing that great in Miami.
He's
I don't
not
think
good.
he was
He's
good.
only good because of Waddle.
So I think most people are seeing, well, our quarterback got replaced by their quarterback in college, and neither one's really doing this or that. And I think it's just a stigma of Jalen Hurts ain't that good. That's why he got replaced at Bama. But really, we got replaced at Bama by a kid that was willing to do what Saban's offense needed, and that's not the ball deep.
Yeah.
So it doesn't come down to the simple I got replaced. It's the X's and O's of what the team needed at the time. I think Jalen Hurts is a good quarterback.
Oh, for sure he is.
Reads a better defense than most people give him credit for a young guy, especially Tua can't read a defense. I don't know if y'all picked that up yet, but he's struggling.
Tua's very bad.
I'm not gonna
Tua's
lie.
bad.
I think Tua is honestly bottom 10 quarterbacks. I'm not gonna say he's complete garbage. He may be like rated average. Honestly, I'm not a huge fan of Tua.
I couldn't. If I never saw him in the uniform again, I wouldn't even notice. Like that's how much I really don't care about Tua.
If anyone ever asks me what I think about a quarterback, I don't necessarily look at stats. I mean, stats tell a great tale. I don't look at wins all the time. I look at pre-snap adjustments, how you read the defense, how you can manipulate the defense.
Mm-hmm.
Those are things that I look for because just about anybody can throw a football 60 yards now. You got to put it on the money, but you got to know when to throw it.
Yep.
A lot of these guys don't have that yet.
Yeah. It's curious to see where Deshaun goes, and I'm very interested to see how this plays out.
Well, we're supposed to know within the next 48 hours, as of this morning, right? I saw something like that.
It's expected tomorrow.
Yeah, I think come noon by tomorrow, you're going to have a team for Deshaun Watson.
So with Deshaun Watson's trade clause, he has to waive the trade clause. He has to agree to the team, correct?
Yes.
That's why he's basically picking the team.
If he ever does, if for some reason I don't think this happens, he makes it to the Falcons, I'm going to assume Matt Ryan somehow ends up on the Colts.
Oh,
in some way.
See that.
Because if I'm the Texans, I'm just going to rock with Davis Mills if I'm trading. If he honestly showed some decent flashes last year. I can't lie. I'm not saying
I'm not hating on the man. The man did good for what
he's not the answer, and he's not going to win you a championship. He's not going to take you to the playoffs. He's not the future. I mean, no. I don't think so. But I mean, for a rebuild, he's there and he can play okay.
Yeah, I mean, I like him. He played pretty well for what he was given.
A garbage team. Probably the worst team in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Has been for years. They're worse than Jacksonville.
So what Chris, I wanted to ask you, what do you think about the Jags moves? Are you happy? Are you sad? Are you in the middle? Are you like surprised at some of them? I want to hear it.
I'm in the middle because I like the people they added. I don't like the money they added to it. Yep. So you're kind of crippling yourself in 2 years. You're giving your rookie quarterback a few years to play with these guys. But what if next free agency, Devontae Adams is sitting there? You won't be able to afford him with the guys paying now. I think these are short deals that will help get a few more wins this year than last year. This is not going to put us in the playoffs. I like the Brandon Scherf ad.
Yeah, that's good.
He's a good guard. He'll play opposite of Norwell, and these guys should be able to hold the inside pretty well and hopefully pave the way for Robinson to pick up some chunk yards.
Him or ETN, whatever they decide.
Yeah, or ETN. I don't know exactly what ETN's going to play, but they needed offensive line help. I think they're still going to draft a tackle.
You think? I thought it's pretty much guaranteed that they're going to take Hutchinson now first.
I mean, that wouldn't be bad, honestly.
I hope they trade back to 4 or 5, still get Evan Neal, get the extra picks.
You don't want Hutchinson?
I would take him. But we have Josh Allen. He's a great piece.
Mm-hmm.
And by all means, I'll take any talent we can get. But you've invested so much in a Trevor Lawrence's future already. Give him that shot. You don't want to linger and say, all right, well, here's your 5th-year option, but we don't know what you're capable of. So I think we're going to let you walk. And I don't ever see that happening. But if you don't give him a chance, that's kind of the crossroads you're at year 5. You either are the superstar they need or you're not. Give him that chance. Let him show you.
What do you think about them cutting Miles Jack? Because as a Ravens fan, I see him out in free agency, and we need a coverage linebacker outside of Patrick Queen. I'm thinking he fits perfectly for the Ravens. What do you think about him leaving the Jags? You see it coming?
The amount of money they saved is not worth cutting a top linebacker. And I understand you signed last year's leading tackler in the NFL. Why not pair them together?
Right.
So it's confusing. Miles Jack was he was iffy from the start because of his knee coming out of UCLA. He panned out great. He did one of our better linebackers that I can remember. And it sucks to see him go. I would have loved to have had him long term. Maybe there's something going on behind the scenes. Maybe his knee is deteriorating, and the doctors said it might be a good time to let him walk. We'll see. I hope he has a great career somewhere that he can win.
I'll take him here in a heartbeat. I'll take him in Baltimore.
Yeah,
in a heartbeat. He can cover, right? That's one of the things he's better at is coverage. But around Lawrence, we were building around Herbert. Yeah, I mean we've talked about, like, if you're not building around your quarterback when he's on his rookie deal like the Bengals did, you're missing out. You're missing out your window.
Absolutely.
Yes. See, I'm agreeing totally with Carl. That's what I want to do. I want to get that tackle, first round, Evan Neal. Give Cam Robinson the keys to somebody else's franchise. Let that man walk. Remove the tag. Keep signing these offensive line pieces.
Trade for Al Collins, maybe.
Huh?
Trade for Al Collins, maybe.
I think he's already gone. I think that deal's done. They just haven't announced it.
The Patriots?
Patriots, yeah.
Okay.
They just traded Shaq Mason. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Shaq Mason, yeah.
What about receivers? Like Christian Kirk's okay, but he's probably a wide receiver 2 at best. Yeah. He's not an outside wide receiver.
I think this draft is deep enough. They're going to reach and get at least 2.
So what do you?
In this draft it's notable that you could get a wide receiver 1 out of one of these guys for the short term.
What if they maybe traded back to like 8 through 10 range and maybe took like Jameson Williams or Chris Olave or something?
Or if Burke's there.
Yeah.
I think Williams is there on day 2, and that's not a popular pick.
Really?
He's coming off ACL surgery, very recently.
Yeah.
He may not even play year 1, and that might deter teams from even taking him in the first round. So Jags have pick number 1 in round 2. Gone. Right. That might be when you take him, and you don't have to trade back to get that.
And I think that'd be a perfect draft. I mean, you get Hutchinson and then him, or maybe even trade back and pick up some more picks and do what you said. I mean,
I like the GM.
They're gonna need a true wide receiver 1. They got rid of Chark, and I didn't get that.
I think he wanted too much money. I just think he didn't want to be there. Like, his time there was probably done. He was probably getting tired of losing his whole career pretty much.
Yeah.
He's a very good wide receiver.
Now he's going to lose again on the Lions, so it doesn't really matter.
I know, right?
With the worst quarterback.
The Lions have a good wide receiving core. DJ Chark and Amon-Ra St. Brown, probably one of the most underrated wide receivers in the league. I mean, shit.
I love Amon-Ra.
He was a dog at the end of the year in fantasy. He was. He
was a dog at USC. I couldn't believe he didn't get drafted better.
Yeah, I actually have made a Facebook post before the draft. I wanted the Ravens to get him at some point.
And actually,
Bateman, so cool.
I think we're going to do a live draft day.
I saw that.
And that's going to be fun. I hope we get a bunch of people in there. And
I will be there.
That'll be fun.
If I'm able to go, I'm going.
Every year, I'm let down a little more every year. So
you'll be let down really early this year then.
Yeah. I'll be, 2 years in a row, I'll be let down in the first round. I can't believe we took Travis Etienne with our first round pick.
That was interesting. That was Urban Meyer, though. That was all Urban Meyer.
Look, listen. It was a couple years ago. We drafted Hayden Hurst. I was like, man, I'm so disappointed. Everybody was packing up. We always do a draft party at my shop, my dad's shop. And then next thing you know, you hear the Ravens traded back to 32 with the Eagles, and we take Lamar Jackson. So there's always hope. There's always hope.
Yeah. I mean,
I'd take Lamar Jackson any day, man.
I just have a hate for him. I can't like him. I don't know why.
Lamar Jackson?
Yeah, he's like a Seahawk for me. I just can't like him.
Can't be friends anymore, dude.
He-
You just broke my heart.
He
broke my heart.
He's phenomenal. Don't get me wrong. He's very good. But I can like Jalen Hurts. They need to work on things, and Lamar has not worked on what he has to work on from what we've seen in games.
I think it's hurting him that he doesn't have an agent because it's obviously very hard to communicate team to player when your mom's your agent. I mean, I'm not saying she's not going to do a good job. You know, she probably has his best interest in mind, but
Yeah,
they're not a sports agent. There's a reason why they're agents and they get paid a crazy amount of money, right?
Yep.
Like the Ravens aren't the Cowboys. They don't have a track record of not getting deals done. They don't have a record of being a bad organization in any type of capacity at all. So it's weird. I do think we get a deal done eventually. I mean, if he plays at $22 million this year and bets on himself like Joe Flacco did, I mean, obviously he won the Super Bowl. I'm not saying Lamar's going to win the Super Bowl this year, but that's what happened.
I mean, it's possible.
Yeah, I mean, but if we're healthy,
quarterback.
it's not far-fetched to say that we could have a shot. You know what I mean? But
I want to hit on this because Michael said, everybody's trying to trade back. And we touched on this last week with the draft. There are no quarterbacks we're trading up for. So while teams are wanting to trade back, because the thing is that this is a really deep class at receiver, at defensive end and edge. Those position groups are loaded. The problem you're running into when you want to make a deal to move up, like the Eagles, they have the picks to move up, but for what? There's no quarterback.
Oh, let's face it, the Eagles are a joke. They take Rager over Jefferson for crying out loud.
That was pretty bad.
But there's a lot of teams who mess up, man. I mean, but they do have.
How do you mess that up? And you pick JJ Whiteside over DK Metcalf? Like, what the hell?
Every team in the league passed on DK Metcalf in their defense.
But DK Metcalf came with baggage in the form of body fat being really low. The doctors were worried that, because of his body fat being low, his bones.
He might be a Martian.
Well, he'd be very susceptible to injury. So I think that really hurt his draft stock with that doctor saying that.
And they said he can't run routes either.
He's not a great runner.
You don't need to be. You can just run everybody over.
Just put it right up here and just.
Don't get me wrong. DK is an absolute monster, but he lacks a lot of talent at the wide receiver position.
Yeah, but he makes up for a lot of it in size and speed.
I mean, yeah, he's a freak. He's more freaky than Calvin Johnson. The dude is a monster. How are you that big and you run like a 4.3?
Right, he's a monster.
How are you 341 pounds and run a 4?
Yeah, that's imagine getting hit by that, man. I couldn't. I wanted to get to Michael's point real quick about the trading back. Also, a lot of people are assuming this year that so the top of the draft is not very top heavy. There's not too many great players within the top 20, but the depth is really, really good, especially for positions that a lot of team needs. Like you kind of alluded to it a little bit ago. So yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I do think we see a lot of teams trade back, especially these teams like the Ravens that try to usually pick up 3rd and 4th round picks whenever they can, and they make that happen a lot. So
I don't think you're going to see 1, 2, and 3 change hands.
Yeah,
if you want to trade back, there's no quarterback to push that early of a deal. Mid first round, picks 8 and 20 in there, you might see half those picks change hands because that's when you're going to hit the meat and potatoes of
the cornerback you want. Maybe the Derek Stingley sitting there, or the Sauce Gardner sitting there when you didn't think he was going to be. I love Sauce too. I'm hoping he drops to 14, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Nah, I think he's a top 10.
So yeah, I'm really, really excited for this draft. I feel like each year I'm more and more excited for the draft. I'm more invested in the football, but it's very unpredictable this year. So
until I find a new team, I dread the draft.
The Ravens fans are always open.
I was a Niners fan before the Jaguars' inception. My mom was like Joe Montana, Steve Young all day.
Right.
So I kind of picked up on that, and then. I'm from Jacksonville, so when the hometown Jags came in, I was like, all right, I'm all in. But now I'm like, you guys should have came up in Wisconsin. I'd be happy right now because then I'd still be a Niners fan and not be quite as upset.
You'd have 5? Would have got 5 Super Bowls and a couple more appearances.
They have 5 more than the Jags will probably ever see.
Ouch.
Yeah, I have no faith until they hire somebody. I love Shad Khan. I like the money and the energy he brings, but he has made some really questionable GM hires.
Is he the one that runs AEW, the wrestling thing, or is that his brother Tony, or his father, whatever he is?
I have no idea.
One of them runs AEW, like the WWE's biggest rival, and they're starting to take over. That's a random
They're
thing,
doing
but
really well. So
Westwood is all AEW.
What happened?
What is it?
What?
AEW. I think it's All Elite Wrestling or something.
So apparently the Broncos are trolling the Cowboys.
I just saw that.
I mean,
It
I
was a
would too.
surprise. It's honestly
If I'm the
hilarious.
Broncos, I'm trolling. I'm like, you let Randy Gregory go over semantics. Honestly.
You guys are doing that thing where one of you talks. It's that Family Guy skit where Peter calls, I guess it's his mom or somebody, and they talk at the same time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's kind of funny to see. I'm kind of laughing over here. Here's another one.
My bad. I get a little excited at times.
Bob Hayes.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I don't even know.
I don't know who that is.
I've heard. I'm not 100% sure.
Bob Hayes, really? I will go back to Hayes was money. I can't remember the guy's name that went to the Cowboys from the 49ers. He was a defensive lineman. He's in the Hall of Fame now. He was 94. I'm gonna have to look it up because it's gonna bug the crap out of me. Dallas Cowboys. I hate Googling Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, I hit every time I enter Dallas Cowboys on my keyboard, they're like, "Are you sure?" Because I can't stand them.
No, not the Marcus Ware in 1994, Carl. He said 1994, right?
And I actually interviewed Bob Hayes.
Ware was too young.
I interviewed Bob Hayes last year for the Hall of Fame stuff. It was pretty cool.
Oh, really?
Pretty cool.
Yeah, he's a pretty laid back dude. He's old school.
So let me ask you this: I'm sure you've interviewed a lot of people. Are most of the athletes usually pretty cool, laid back people like you and I, or are some of them like a little more uptight, like they know they're famous, or is it like in the middle, like a mix?
Depends on when you catch them. Honestly, the guys that are current, they're high strung. They're all about themselves, and I get it. They're making tons of money. 94 from like the 90s.
1994, yeah.
Number 94 from the 90s. He was a 49er, went to the Cowboys to win some Super Bowls. I can't remember his name, and I'm looking it up. But the current guys they're current. They're all about themselves. I feel like if you get in a Zoom interview with somebody like Coach Cower, dude was one of the nicest people you can imagine.
Really?
Yes. If you would have caught him when he was coaching, he probably would have yelled at you.
Like I saw ASAP, the ASAP Network did a really nice job doing the Super Bowl interviews. But from what I saw, it looked like the players were pretty nice. But I mean, they're going to the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? It all seemed like he was a chill, laid back guy. Like everybody seemed like they were really, really cool. So I just always wondered because I've met some I was at a Maryland game one time and John Harbaugh was randomly just standing there getting chicken tenders. And I talked to him like he took pictures with everybody and everything. It was insane. He was like the nicest guy ever.
Yeah, from what I heard about Odell Beckham, because my one friend, his dad's a huge Giants fan. Odell Beckham's one of the nicest people he's ever met. He seems like an arrogant person, but he's super nice.
That doesn't surprise me. I think he seems like he's pretty.
People just hate him because he's very emotional.
Yeah,
he's a very emotional person.
Charles Haley is who I was talking about.
Oh, Charles Haley. I didn't know who that is.
Yeah, he was a 49er, and then he went over and won some Super Bowls with the Cowboys. I knew the number and I knew his face. I just could not think of his name. I asked Bill Cowher if there was a linebacker that he had coached that was not already in the Hall of Fame, and he laughed at me and said, "No, we were pretty good with our linebackers." And that was his reply. And I was like, "Yeah, I know. Yeah. 90s and
hasn't been the same since."
Yeah. I mean, you could argue that those Steelers linebackers changed how we view linebackers. I mean, Kevin Green was a massive monster.
Yeah.
He was mean.
He was mean.
So mean.
James Harrison's not in the Hall of Fame, is he?
No.
Do you think he'll ever be?
Yeah. It's going to take some time. He won't make it in the first 10 years.
Bill Cowher coached him too, right? At some point. Bill Cowher coached him as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think he started
Oh,
it.
Him and Tomlin both did, I think. He never did?
Let me look. It was the right era.
He
but
did like towards the end.
Yeah.
It may have been when Cowher was like on his way out.
I wanted to ask you guys real quick while we're on the Steelers. What do you think about Mitch Trubisky being their quarterback? I don't. You don't like it?
I don't like Trubisky. He's not a good quarterback, honestly.
I think it's better than Ben last year. I think it's an upgrade from what they had last year.
Well,
I think with the situation that he's getting put into with the Steelers, and they signed a lineman, pretty good guard actually, and they have some good receivers, I think he can do okay. I don't think they're gonna probably contend with the Bengals and Ravens if we're both healthy. But I think it was a decent move for the amount of price they got.
I don't see them winning more than they did last year.
Hope not.
Who? I'm sorry.
Pittsburgh.
I wanted to know about how you guys thought about Mitch Trubisky.
I could see like 4 to 5 wins.
I hope.
Out of that.
Good.
Bill Cowher did have him for 4 years. I looked it up.
Okay.
So you guys are definitely right on that. Early 2002 through 2006 was when Harrison and Cowher together.
You've been playing a long ass
NFL history in this show. I like it.
Yeah.
History, man.
I can hold my own in the 2000s, but before that, I got a little bit. The Ravens weren't even around until 1996. So,
okay, so here's some Jaguars history, and you probably know this. We were 14-2 one season, made it all the way to the AFC title, and lost to a team. Who were our 3 losses that year? 2 regular season. It was the year we had. It was the year that St. Louis won it all. They beat the Titans in the Super Bowl, right?
That Kevin Dyson year with the 1 yard line.
So what team beat us 3 times?
Was that when the Ravens won their division? Because weren't the Jags and Ravens in the same division at one point?
No.
And the Titans, I believe. Was it the Titans?
All 3, yeah.
The Titans beat them all 3, you said?
We were undefeated against everybody but the Titans that year.
Really?
It was a miserable season because I remember the AFC game. We were up like 14-0, and I was like, "We're going to a Super Bowl." And then it broke loose. Dyson got one, Eddie George got one, and it just changed.
Eddie George was fun to watch.
He was game breaker. The cover of Game Breaker in the 90s. That was my favorite game.
He was a very good. Like, it seems like Tennessee has a stigma of these big backs.
Yeah, they always have good running backs.
Like, Eddie George was a big dude.
He was. He had tree trunks. The only back I can compare him to size-wise would be Natron Means, but taller and definitely, like, leg-wise, Natron Means had some trunks.
Barkley, though.
He does. I met Natron Means, and I was like, oh, my God, dude is like, he's carrying oak trees for legs.
And that was probably back at a time where a lot of players weren't built like that. I feel like these days every player runs a 4.5, and they're built crazy big. Their quads and their muscles, and they're doing reps on the bench. I feel like the times have changed and advanced so much with all these metrics and stuff, and these players are just getting bigger and faster by the year.
Yep, absolutely.
That's what's scary about like Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen and everybody, how good they are right now, because all of the positions are advanced now. So that's why I don't like comparing like eras of quarterbacks like Tom Brady to like Josh Allen, because it's just so different. Same thing with the NBA. I'm not a huge fan of like LeBron James and MJ. I think they can be goats of respective eras. I don't like comparing different eras.
It's 2 different eras.
That's just my opinion on it. I had to get that out of my chest.
I agree, and I also don't like when people say, "Oh, well, Brady or so and so wouldn't be good in this era." Okay, well, there's he's not in that era, so
right. You don't know that.
Like, okay, Patrick Mahomes or any of the quarterbacks nowadays wouldn't survive in the 80s. Okay, but they're not in the 80s.
Yeah,
like Tom Brady, you can say the era thing, but Tom Brady is the GOAT of football.
And he's played through like 3 different eras at this point. He's played through the mobile quarterback era, which we're going through right now. He's played through the pocket quarterback era with Peyton Manning.
Well, okay. Mobile quarterback, I'll say this. We went through that era twice already.
Yep.
And I will
Vic,
say twice it didn't work
Cap,
out.
Vic.
Cunningham too.
I was gonna say before them, Randall Cunningham and Steve Young were two of the scrambling plumber.
Yeah.
I mean, they had some scrambling, and those guys didn't exactly pan out their
Steve
entire
Young did.
career.
I mean, Steve Young was pretty damn good.
Steve Young did. I don't mean to put him in that group of failures. He had greatness, no doubt, but he wasn't as much of a scrambler as like Randall Cunningham, and that shortened his career with the hits
for sure.
being that.
So that's the problem.
Yeah, I think you have to find sorry, real quick. I think you have to find a happy medium, and I believe the person that found the happy medium best was Russell Wilson. I think he was the one that he was more of a scrambler at first, and then he like kind of cut it out. But he's a smart runner. Aaron Rodgers was never a huge scrambler, but he's a smart runner, and you have to be partly mobile.
See, I think Josh Allen's got that down packed.
Yeah.
Like
I just want to see his body work.
Josh Allen's a monster. Like, he's a big dude, and Russell Wilson for his size, he was very smart with how he played the game. I mean, I think Josh Allen has like 4 or 5 inches on Russell Wilson, so that gives advantage. But Josh Allen's arm is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And his body, like, on the 1 yard line, you don't know if he's gonna run it in or what's gonna happen, because he is a running back.
This may be unpopular, but I honestly think Josh Allen's the best quarterback in the NFL right now.
I agree.
He's got a claim to it.
I think right now Josh Allen is the best quarterback. Him and Justin Herbert just sling the ball so effortlessly. They're the two quarterbacks. When they throw it, it doesn't look like they put much might into it, but they do.
It's like when Cunningham used to throw.
Yeah.
Because Cunningham, when he threw the ball, it's just like playing catch with a kid.
Yeah, it's this. He didn't have to do the full arm motion.
I always put the argument, if Josh Allen was on Kansas City, how many rings does he have?
He has I think he has at least one.
Maybe more than Mahomes at this point. I think he has 2 to 3.
I agree.
But Josh Allen, he is a better quarterback. Period.
I think you can make that argument very, very, very strongly. I do.
And you guys were mentioning quarterback scrambles. I would like to put one in there that is probably the least qualified scrambler. But if I hear quarterback scramble like John Elway doing a rotational spin by getting hit at the Super Bowl, is like the scramble that comes to mind. And that big dude was not a scrambler. He was not a 4 guy, but that's for some reason what's ingrained behind my eyelids. It's there always.
I still think he's overrated.
Elway?
And
I'm a Denver fan. Like, come on.
I don't like
how many Hall of Famers do you need around you?
I mean, ask Skip Bayless how it is working with Shannon Sharp. Like, I feel like that's how John Elway deserves it, because he had to put up with Shannon Sharp.
I mean, Shannon Sharp is an absolute, you know what.
He was a baller. Dude would catch anything. He was
one of the best tight ends ever played a game.
He was Kyle Pitts in the 90s.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I agree.
John Elway, I don't know him as a player probably like you do. I don't think he's a good GM at all, but he's made some nice moves. He's made some nice moves. He ain't no John Lynch, but he's made some nice moves this offseason. I'll say that.
I am still curious as to if he's beating himself or not waiting for Watson. I don't think he is, but there's always like that in the back of my head. Like, I would rather have Deshaun Watson than Russell Wilson. Anyone who says otherwise, honestly, I can't see the reasoning.
But you're probably giving up Jerry Jeudy if you're going to get Deshaun Watson. They're going to want more than what they gave for Russ.
They're
much younger.
Yeah, for sure. They're going to want more than 3 firsts and 2 seconds for sure.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think he's worth the pay. Russell Wilson's 33 and Deshaun Watson's 26.
Yeah.
That was my issue with the deal. Yeah.
And Deshaun Watson is 2 years. He didn't play for 1 year. He sat out 1 year. So he's basically only 25 in football standards.
But they're going to have to take on the contract, correct?
That contract's a huge contract.
That's what I'm saying, and they probably wouldn't have been able to.
He's
They
worth
can
it.
restructure. They can. Here's the thing with trades in the NFL. A deal can be worked where Houston eats the signing bonus portion of his current deal, and they take the dead cap. I don't know that they would because they're the ones that are making the deal, but
Yeah.
Why would they?
to make the deal happen, if salary cap is an issue, I mean, they might do it. And then you get him, you restructure his deal, you give him, 6 or 7 years, whatever it takes to get the number right, and there you go. You can make it financially work in the NFL. There are loopholes in almost everything.
Oh yeah.
Let's see what Michael said. I have to agree. Look at all the great quarterbacks we get to see for 10 more years.
It doesn't.
I can confidently say that Tom Brady is the GOAT quarterback.
Yeah.
Other than that, I 100% agree with you. I get your
Yeah.
point. I agree.
Okay, but let's say this, and then we got to end it up. But
Yeah.
if Tom Brady retires from the Patriots with only 6 rings, never leaves, never gets one with Tampa Bay, are you still saying he's unquestionably the GOAT?
Yeah.
Are you? Okay.
I think I am.
Yeah.
I would say a small margin, but with this other Super Bowl, it's a big gap.
Yeah.
So the reason why I say is because in New England, how many Hall of Famers did he have? 1 on offense?
Well, Gronk, maybe.
That's it.
He'll be it.
Randy Moss.
He
Wes
had Randy Moss. For Wes Welker, I don't think he's
Julian
not a Hall of
Edelman's
Famer.
Kind of close.
He'll make it
Well,
eventually.
I don't think either one of them are Hall of Famers. But who on that team, aside from that Randy Moss year,
Bill Belichick
stands out as the top, as the top of the top, like the cream of the crop? Like he didn't have who the 49ers had in the 90s, who the Cowboys had.
That's a good point.
I hate to say it too. Like I hate it. Their defense did help them out a lot, which a defense has to. The defense helped the Cowboys out a lot too, and the 49ers. Same thing with Pittsburgh. They helped them out. But at the end of the day, no one played. Like Brady changed the game. He was doing short 10-yard slants. What quarterback was doing slants as much as Brady?
I don't think anybody. But I mean,
he was smart. He's a
Mac
smart
Jones
quarterback.
now.
Yeah, Mac Jones with his same exact Bill Belichick style that he's got to work with.
Well, I think we had a good show, gentlemen. I think we represented the ASAP brand pretty well. If you guys get a chance, all you viewers, I appreciate everybody commenting. Check ASAP. There's tons of great shows. You got Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. There's ASAP and ASAP Plus. You got Tiki Live TV, Roku channel, Amazon. They're working on Apple TV. I don't know if that's done yet. They are growing their brand, and it's making it easier for average guys like me to hang out with these guys with hair, some with hair, and talk about sports and get things done. So I appreciate ASAP. I appreciate you guys. You guys are great, really. I mean, I enjoy our time.
Yes, sir. I agree.
Let's try and do this again next week like we always do.
Yep. I'll be here.
Good.
All right, guys. Have a good one.
Have a good night.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making up plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.